Well, I had to make this for posterity's sake, right? It's 2024, and I don't think you're ever going to see a third gen Smith& Wesson unless it came from a museum, or Smith& Wesson museum, or somehow new old stock at some police department that has surplus of pistols that they didn't issue and they forgot about them and they're in a warehouse. I don't know. But even then, probably not. This is a third generation Smith& Wesson. Clearly by the more squarish, glockish slide, you could tell that this is the end of the third gen. The beginning of the third gen, the slides had more of a look of the second gen. And then very shortly, within about 2 years, by definitely all by 1990, but by late 89, 1990, you started seeing the updated third gen, which is the one you probably think of. And that has the rounded trigger guard and the more wider ejection port, which would be just like this -1 4506. So this is the true third gen in a sense. You have the beginning third gen with the square trigger guard on all of them, aluminum, black, or blue model, stainless, didn't matter. And then, so in the beginning of third gen, you had the square trigger guard, no matter what the material was, stainless or blue or aluminum. And it had more of a little more narrower slide, looked a little lighter in my opinion. And you had a still smaller ejection port. There was more metal covering the hood of the chamber, so they did widen the ejection port, which would make it more reliable, even when it got dirtier, or if you were slightly limp wristing. So, but anyways, though, so this is just an example of what I call like a full third gen before the value model came. Now, is there anything wrong with the value models? No. Is it sad that the value models happened? Well, I mean, I guess if you're back then and you could have gotten the same gun, and it was going to be your truck gun or a woods gun, and you didn't want to beat it up. I mean, you didn't care about keep beating it up. You got to save your money. Okay, so I'm not against it. It's just sad that the reason why it was happening because it was the end, and the world was switching to plastic, and then eventually Smith & Wesson came out with their SW40, SW9, right? And but that terrible, their first type of, it wasn't a true double action striker fire, but they got sued by Glock and they won, and then whatever, and they got no respect, those guns, and then until they came up with the MNP. We're not here to talk about that though. But so you can clearly see though how there's a lot of connection though. This is not about the color or the material or the slide. I'm sorry, the color, material, or the caliber. This is 45, they're the ones that's 40. But the 40 and the 9mm share the same dimensions, except the 40 would just been a little beefier in the frame and in the slide, but still pretty much about the same holsters. It's going to look about the same, and they're double stack, or this is single stack. So anyways though, but so you can clearly see how that's going to look. I wanted to make this video because I picked this up today for free. I went to a shop that I went to a few weeks ago, and I saw this there, but I really didn't look at it that much. I didn't even realize, I guess, it was just really busy that day. It didn't come to my attention that, because he didn't have price tags on his stuff. And he says he does that for a reason, because in case someone comes in and asks stupid questions like, what's the cheapest gun you got? Because someone probably is looking to buy something and do something stupid. He just tell them, oh, everything's $1,000. And that way, the person just leaves. So whatever. Anyways though, I went back there and I said, you still have that? And he's like, oh yeah, it's buried over there in the corner. It's a strange store. It's like a house. There's a store in northeastern Pennsylvania. And he had this. And the price was insanely stupid. He's like, it just priced it to get it out of here. My mind thinking, like, why is it still here then? Well, it's 40 caliber. And from, I guess, a collector's standpoint, the Model 410s or 411s, because these all went to 10-round mags, if you know, in the mid-90s, because the Clinton ban era, they banned everything to 10 rounds. Of course, you could insert pre-ban magazines in the guns if the gun came out designed before that. So like Berettas and SIG 226s, you could have bought pre-bands if they were already made, or somebody traded with you, or if the stores had surplus of them, but no new manufactured. Between 1994 and 2004, all magazines that were newly made had to be 10 rounders. So it made you, if you had already pre-band, basically it made you rich. You could have traded them for $100, give or take, depending on the gun. So anyways, though, this is the same size as like a 5906. 5906, that would have been 9mm, 5, meaning double stack 9. In the third gen, the first number is going to be single or double stack. So if it's 3, the first number is going to be single stack. 5 is double stack, okay, for the 9mm. And so in this case, you have double stack 5. Well, this is not the 9mm though. And then 5906, 9 would be the caliber, 0 would be standard double action, single action, and then 6 would be stainless steel. Now, this 4006 would have been this same gun in stainless, upper and lower, not upper and then aluminum lower. They had basically 3 models. You had stainless, everything stainless, aluminum with like anodized stainless, and you had this black, or you can call it blued, but really looks like a black. And I'm not sure what type of finish it is. It's like a spray on, or I wouldn't call it a Cerakote, but it's a nice looking finish when it's clean, but it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's gonna be impervious to salt water or rust. It's definitely not as strong as like maybe a melanite or a nitron. I don't know. I'll have to find out what exact finish is on this. I wanted to take a video because of the condition of this gun, and the latest it could be, I believe, is like the 1996, I think, when they stopped making this. Anyways, though, it's probably early 90s or mid 90s, because it is the value model. In the third generation, they did go to, even though it had 4 numbers for third gen, like a 4006 or 4046, or anyways, this is a 410 because the value line, which they didn't chisel out the slide or add any serrations here or serrations here, same grips, same controls, but everything was value. Black trigger as opposed to the stainless triggers. The hammer, I'm pretty sure this is a BIM hammer, and it is hollowed out, which is pretty unique. I've never seen that on any third gen. The sights, they went cheaper with these polymer, but these are very rigid and durable polymer sights. Definitely nicer too. They're more robust for polymer sights compared to like a Glock. This was already safety checked. I haven't even taken it apart, which I'm about to, but everything's clear. I haven't even cleaned this yet. This belonged to a police chief, some small town. He came in, he sold his collection because he had cancer, colon cancer, and then he passed. So before he died, he brought in all his guns to the shop there, and whatever, he bought all the stuff, and the man passed. So this belonged to some police chief, and the guy said he had a lot of guns. So what a piece of history that this belonged to him back in the 90s. Definitely looks like one owner. I mean, holy cow. Have you ever seen a third gen that unmarred, that clean? Now, of course, when I racked it, I could tell it's extremely dry. Like, it felt like he shot 1 box of ammo through it. There's some carbon and some brass marks on the inside. And look at the lines, and look how nice. I haven't even cleaned. I'm gonna take this apart, and then I'm gonna show you after when I clean it. But there's no rust on this or anything. It's just dirty and dry, and hasn't been probably lubricated in 30 years. What? Look at the lines on that. I'm trying to catch the lighting. I'm a stickler for that. Where's the? Yeah, looks clean. Clean's not the word. So wowza. The 5906 mags I have here, these 17 rounders do fit in there, and I did put some 40 cal rounds in and compare it to the 10 rounders that they came with, and the angle is a little different. The follower here is a little beefier, which raises the round slightly higher than the 9mm. It's more slanted there. So I will take it to the range and see if these work. Or I could try to just order 3 of these followers, just put them in here, and then try to convert these to a higher cap 40 caliber. It might still work with this 9mm follower, but it might not. The other issue is the width. It is slightly wider on here, and that's another reason why I might be holding that back. We'll find out. I'm not too worried about that. Anyways, let's take this apart, and wow, I mean, not even any dents or scratches. It's like this guy bought it, kept it forever, got sick, brought his guns in. He's like, hey, I'm gonna pass. And anyway, there it was for me. So I brought in something a gun that I enjoyed, but I was ready to part my ways with it legally. And I saw the gun there, but I asked him how much he was looking to get. It was just like, just 2.5. I'm just like, okay. And so I brought something in. Bada boom, we made a nice legal trade at the gun store, and I went home with this and some ammo and a holster that this fits in. This is a nice Bianchi holster. It's for a SIG 226, but just to put it out there, it fits it perfectly. The SIG 226 holster in leather, especially with this exposed end, it fits perfectly, and I'll show that in there. But also, this will also pair. It fits perfectly the 4506. So now I have a nice, you can call it a nice Sunday afternoon carry. It's beautiful double stitched leather, very durable, but definitely older, but classic. So anyways, I was very happy to go home with this, for free. Here's what it was. He got a 9mm, I got a 40. I love both calibers. 9mm is cheaper, and it's the rage now. But I still have 9mm, but this in 40 is why it was still sitting there. Also, it's double action, single action, and it's a bigger gun than what everyone wants. We want some micros and everything. But this was aluminum. This, if it was stainless steel, would be significantly heavier. I don't believe there was a stainless steel black model with that black. No, you wouldn't be added. So basically, the only stainless steel would be all stainless or stainless upper, and then the anodized aluminum. In this case, there's 2 aluminum, the blued aluminum or stainless aluminum, or full stainless steel. This, I guess, would be the lightest one because this is a carbon slide, not stainless. And the aluminum lower. To me, it's extremely light. I had a 5904, which is the same gun in 9mm, in blued like this. This would be 40, but plus, remember, this is the value line, which, okay, black trigger, black this. There's a polymer guide ride and polymer sights. And was this polymer? I think it is. The polymer mag catch. Does that bother me? No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. What a good looking piece. Let's drop that. Wow, crispy. Very crispy. I need to take this apart and we'll look at the inside and then let's clean it. This thing is so tight. Like I said, it looks like it was shot once, and there's some carbon in there and some brass marks. But you can see very little wear on the internals at all. It still has this almost like the painted, whatever finish that is. So yeah, see the polymer guide rod. I'm almost positive I could just upgrade that. I'm positive actually, I could just upgrade that to a stainless steel one. Although it kind of doesn't bother me. I might just buy a new spring. Maybe I'll buy that guide rod, we'll see. As for the lower, the most important part, because uppers, if I want, I could take a 40 caliber, anything upper, and swap this out on the 3rd gen. But the lower though, that's the fire. look at the rails, very clean, very minimal wear. Just dirty, not extremely dirty, just a little dirty. He probably shot this and put in the safe. So, yeah, very minimal wear. You see how it rides on the steel here. So, he didn't shoot a lot. I don't think he, no, look at you. It's just extremely dry. I'm going to give this a bath, a full cleaning. Yeah, so the barrel's dirty. Lands and grooves look great though. This thing wasn't shot a lot. I mean, look at the barreling on the rifle on that. I mean, he shot it probably a few boxes, maybe if that. And sorry, couldn't help myself. And he put it away. Everything on this feels sharp, which means it's not broken in at all. Wow, like the locking grooves here feel like sharp, like crispy, like wow. Let's look at the inside. It's just a little dirty and old dirt. I mean, very old dirt. Like he shot it in 1990s. I wonder what song was on the radio. And kind of sad. The guy that shot that gun, he shot it, put it away. He never enjoyed it again. And he definitely didn't carry this thing ever. This is a very easy gun to scratch on the slide. And this anodized finish is actually very, well, it's a good finish on a gun, but it's very easy to, if you've seen these guns carried by cops, the blued ones, they're very easy to scuff up. So he shot it and put it away. He shot it and put it away. Wow. Crispy. Wow, crispy. Okay, let's clean it up. Okay. We broke down the lower there, and you see this is connected to the hammer. This spring would be around this right here. That locks in the bottom, and then you put the grip on, and it almost acts like a piston, almost like a shock absorber. It does, because it transfers the energy where the slide cycles back, the weight of the slide absorbs, has to move that, and then it has to move the counter force of that spring. And then it has the hammer, which is down when it fires. It has to overreact to push the hammer back. And then this is almost like the hammer spring acts as a piston, and it goes down, and it's gonna compress this. And I've never seen this part here wear out. And then this will compress, go back, and then it'll go back in reverse. This will uncompress, expand, right? This is gonna go here, and the hammer's gonna go, stay back, and the slide's gonna go forward, and this will return. Now what slowed it down, we'll return it from whence it came. And that's what locks it. This is extremely crispy. Wow. That's the cleanest third gen I ever seen. I mean, ridiculous. Even look at this. It's like this was almost a little stiff taking it apart. Wow. I think the only wear is there. Oh, I thought there was on the inside a little bit. No. Wow. Wow. You can almost see your reflection. Wow. I had to just take a video of this before I cleaned it just to show the condition of the actual firearm. It's like this was made back when, we know it's after 1994 because it's the 410 model, you know, where they're banned to the 10 rounds. So there'd only be a few of these out there, especially in 40 caliber, which was less popular than 9mm. although popular back then, but still, you're gonna make more than 9s. And then I think they stopped making these in '96, or give or take. So wowza, wow, really beautiful. Time to clean it up, and let's see how it looks. I'm gonna put the Sopranos back on. Detail clean the magazines, clean everything. First, this is all going to take a hot bath in soap and water, then dry it out with a hair dryer. Everything dry, then everything cleaned and properly lubricated in the proper spots. I'm going to get this thing like very nice in 3, 2. Well, there it is. Might look about the same, but trust me, it's a lot cleaner. Not that this was an extremely filthy gun. It's more of a mixture of that it was dirty per se, and there was some lubrication on this, but it was such old lubrication, it becomes like a hard wax. If you shoot your gun and it's lubricated, you could use it again, probably, who knows how long, a week, maybe a month, I don't know. But not years or decades later. Lubrication after decades, it becomes gunked. And that's why I like hot soap and water. Get all that shit off, scrub it all off, get it all dry. Then clean lubricate. For general purpose, this stuff's great here, for general purpose. But for more fine points, after I, let's say, use this for cleaning, especially for internal parts, for getting off grime and shit like that, like, all this stuff was on there, and see, it was like a, it wasn't rust. It was just like it was the whatever grease or lube we had on there was like oxidized. It was so old, and I had to get all that off. And then the slide cycles like butter now, very tight though. I'm gonna break this thing in. We got 180 Gold Dots and 180 Rangers there, or what was the other one they called that? Winchester keeps changing their name every lawsuit. Anyways, this I like really good for small points, like on the rails. This is very slick, stays in place. This is similar to this in some instances. For it depends what you want to do. For getting rid of the stuff in the bore and the carbon and shit, I just use very little of this and scrub it out. And I got nice patches. You can see, I mean, there was a good amount of stuff in there. It was pretty dirty, but it was a lot of grime. Anyways, and for external stuff though, I tried out this one too recently. It's nice just to spray tiny little on the outside, keep it as a rust preventative. So maybe when you carry your gun once a week, you should at least wipe down the outside, prevent any rust. Maybe once a month, you should take your ammo out of your mags, disassemble the magazine, clear all the dust bunnies, and who knows if you have any rust building up in there, if you get moisture. It's also good to check your ammo. Ammo could take a beating, and you could have damage or dents actually on the casings, especially if you fully load your mags. If you don't -1, if you go fully loaded and you insert your magazine with the slide closed, depending on the gun and the magazine, right, there might be almost no play, and you have to almost slam your mag in if it slides closed. Well, that's gonna put a lot of fucking pressure on the ammo. And so when you're loading the gun, I would lock the slide back, then insert that. Now you drop your round in, and now your magazine inserts very easy. Especially if the gun's really new, you really want to break it in. But yeah, keep an eye on your ammo. It could take a beating. Anyways, here it is. Wow, look how clean. Wow, look at that. Look at that. The anodizing is so old that it almost has like a purplish mauve, almost like an eggplant color. It almost looks like a purple frame. I noticed that the lighting, not this way, but if you look at it in the lighting, the anodizing is so old in this. Look, it's got almost like a purple for color. Well, oh, there's a 1911 over there. I can't do that. So anyways, well, everything on this thing is crispy. This was a value gun. You know, what's a value gun today? A Taurus G2C, G3C. This was, dude, the 90s were fucking awesome. This was a value gun. This value gun will shoot tighter groupings than, like, I'm telling you, man, these things were nice. The lines on it are kind of growing on me. You got the square slide, but with the 40 cal, it's even a little taller. They leave more material to make the slide heavier. On a 5906, or if you had the model 910, it was the 910. Would even be not as tall as this, but the 910 would be taller than a 5906, and this would be the tallest slide with this value 40 caliber. They left a lot more mass on it, and they also left a little more square. And remember what was happening in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. Glock was taking the world by storm, and people wanted, you know. Yeah, so in the 90s, like I said, square was in with the Glock, and then these were getting phased out. The plastic and square, cheaper, lighter. And then, so they did go cheaper and lighter with these, the end of the 3rd gen value series. Plastic sights, cheaper, lighter. Plastic guide rod, cheaper, lighter. MIM parts, and was what it was. Because there was something coming out. Now, these are around the same size. Glock 19. So we could kind of think the Glock 17 and 19 for ending the beautiful Smith & Wesson 3rd gen. We didn't get a 4th gen because cheaper, lighter plastic. It took over. Cheaper, lighter plastic, and they're always ready to fire, just like this, but you can't turn them off. No safety. This is a safety and decocker, so you could carry it ready to go, just like this. The difference of, I guess, less training per se, or less options. People didn't want options anymore. They wanted a gun just ready to go, and you got this little dangle there, and that's it. That's it. Streamlined. In some ways, yeah, the Glock is better for that. It's streamlined. It's a simpler trigger to master. Same pull every time, even though you could still stage it, but you could just squeeze it like a revolver in a sense. And these are not single action. It is technically a double action because when a Glock is cocked, the striker is about 3/4 back. And as you pull it, it fully cocks it and drops it. But no one's really gonna call it a double action. At the same time, any gun that's not single action only has to be a double action. Because unless the gun is fully cocked, if a gun's fully cocked like this, the only thing the trigger could do is drop that. Okay? That's not the case with this. It's not fully cocked. It's cocked when you chamber around. Oh, it is, but not fully. Okay? That's fully cocked right there. It's not loaded. It's not pointing at my dick. What I'm trying to say is, so this is double or single. This is technically just 2 steps, and you could call that technically a double action, but it's not totally. This is either totally back or totally down. Long, heavy pull or very light pull. This is not fully cocked, but not totally uncocked. This is totally uncocked or fully cocked. This is everything or nothing. Not nothing, but you know what I'm saying, though. Ultra long, heavy, or ultra light, short pull. This is in between. Longer pull than this in single action, but shorter pull than this in double action. Whatever the fuck. It was what it was. You can see the squareness. It's cheaper. These things get milled out of steel slides, so Smith & Wesson before that Wouldn't mill it out and make it beautiful like that. You can see that. So, of course, this is alongside 45. But you see, the stainless there would look like that. So, because of Glock, less milling, faster production time, right? Simpler design, less fitting of parts. Was what it was. Cheaper, lighter, faster. We're done here. Even for a value gun, it's beautiful. I love how this was the value gun, but it still has more features than the Glock. The Glock came in polymer sights. At least this had nice sights like that, man. These were nice, bigger, nice sights. Still came with a stainless steel barrel. Very accurate. And the fit and finish on this thing, man, it is tight. It is nice. Like I said, if this was a 910, or it could hold 15 rounds or 17 rounds, because this is a 17 round or 9mm, but it does hold 12 rounds of 40 caliber. So, and it does cycle. I checked it out. Oh, that's good to know. Confirm. We're done here. I'll see you around. Stay fresh. I'm glad I traded something to get this. That's a piece of history. See you around. Stay fresh.